Hey guys, it's Jeff Martin with Eternity Shore. Back about 5 years ago, we stepped up from a 19-foot deck boat all the way to a 33-foot express cruiser. And so this particular video might be useful for those of you who are thinking about buying a boat for the first time, or people that already have a boat and you're thinking about stepping up to a larger boat. Some of the things I'll be mentioning here relate to stepping up to a larger boat, an express cruiser. Other things will just relate to boating in general. This video might save you a little bit of frustration, maybe even a little bit of money. And so these are my reflections on the last 5 years and what I've learned that I just want to pass along to you. So these aren't complaints, even though we've had a tough year, but just things that I probably would have wanted to know a little bit more detail before we ventured out in getting this boat back 5 years ago. Here you go. 7 hard truths about boat ownership that most people wouldn't tell you. Truth number 1, costs do not scale linearly. What do I mean by that? When we moved up in size to a larger boat, I expected costs to increase, and I didn't realize how many things would jump up all at once. Storage, maintenance, parts, labor, even the simple mistakes you make all become more expensive because you have a lot more systems on the boat. And it's not just a little more, it can be a lot more pretty quickly. You know, for us, we had a Mercury 150 horsepower, 4-stroke, fairly new outboard engine in our Bayliner, and that was about all the systems that we had, was that motor and some other things. But when you step up to an express cruiser, you are now stepping up to a small condominium, and with that, you have all the systems. Many of the systems that you have in your house are there. It's not just the individual items that you can incur, but if you have multiple problems at once, the costs really skyrocket pretty quickly. So that's the first thing to consider when you're thinking about stepping up and purchasing a boat like an express cruiser, is you have just so many different systems that need attention. The second truth is, I think your maintenance confidence probably matters more than your skill, if I could say it that way. And I don't mean to diminish certain people's skills, but certain things on a boat that are mechanical, you could probably figure out how to do, and you don't necessarily need to hire somebody else to do it. Now, I am not a particularly handy person, but I guess I'm a little bit brave when it comes to trying to fix things. So much of what I've learned on YouTube. And I would say that a big consideration is really how much are you going to try to do yourself. And the more that you try to do yourself, the more you will save, but the potential that's there as well for more agitation. And with that, it's not the ability to know everything that makes a big difference. The difference is, are you willing to learn? Are you willing to make mistakes? Are you willing to ask questions and admit when you need help? Boat ownership overall gets less stressful when you stop pretending you know what you're doing and you get the help that you need. Sometimes you're just going to need to hire somebody to do the work, and that's okay. You need to realize that that's an important realization. I'd also say that confidence in the maintenance that you do grows with repetition, not perfection. You'll get more confident as you do them more regularly, but to expect that you'll do something perfect the first time is probably not true. Truth number 3, this relates to maintenance. Really important that you understand this. Just because you think you know how to fix something doesn't mean you can or should fix it. On a boat, it may be as simple as opening up a panel and seeing, for example, whether or not your heating element needs to be replaced in your hot water heater. Well, on our hot water heater, you just can't reach it. I can't get to it. And so I have no idea what's going on with it right now. So your expertise in fixing things that you may do on a workbench in your garage does not translate to a boat. You may be really handy, but that handiness may not exactly relate or translate well into the structure or the layout of your boat. So just keep that in mind if you're thinking about purchasing a boat. Hey, before I get to the next truth, if you're enjoying this content, can you just take a moment and hit that subscribe button? We really appreciate it to support the channel. Okay, now truth number 4. You will worry more about your boat than you want to, especially at the beginning. There are lots of different things that just run through your mind all the time, whether or not you should leave a through hole open or not, which of the on the DC panel should you leave on or off? Do you run your fridge while you're gone? Do you not run the fridge while you're gone? Over the winter, you wonder, did you do enough to make sure that the boat was winterized properly? You need to expect, I guess the truth is, you're going to worry more than you want to, especially in the beginning. It will get better over time, but there are lots of different things that'll be on your mind that it'll be hard to get off your mind. All of this does not mean you're doing something wrong. It just means that you care enough to be thinking about your boat, which is a good thing. I would say over time, that anxiety turns into awareness, and then the awareness turns into a little bit more confidence. Now, you should never get cocky, but you can be more confident that you're doing the right things at the right time. Truth number 5, boat ownership gets more enjoyable. Enjoyment increases over time as your expectations adjust to reality. Early on, it's easy to think boating should always feel relaxing, effortless, but in reality, the joy grows over time when you accept the things you need to learn, when you stop comparing your experience to other people on YouTube. That's a very important thing. The more you understand your boat, the more freedom you'll have in enjoying it, and you'll feel that freedom on the water. Truth number 6, if you do not want to learn, or you're someone that does not want to learn, do not buy a boat. If you're interested in learning, or that's part of your DNA, then that's great. You have to be willing to learn, I think, at any level. And if you're not able to push through, if you don't have the dynamic determinism to push through issues and problems, if you don't demonstrate that in your own life right now, or you don't have that drive to push through difficult things, then I suggest you just don't buy a boat, because you'll probably end up really discouraged. You probably give up on a lot of things, and it'll sit around and it'll not be used. We're still learning, and we'll probably always be learning, and that's a big part of boating. If you don't want to learn, then I do not suggest that you get into boating. Truth number 7. Do not think about getting boating unless you have time, because boating takes time. You may live really close to the water. We don't. We live an hour away from where our boat is, and you have to consider that when you're considering buying a boat and using a boat regularly. But even if you're close to your boat, even if your boat is nearby, it takes time. Boating takes time. Fixing your boat takes time. Preparing to leave the dock takes time. Being out on the water takes time. If you don't have time, if you don't have a big chunk of time, if you don't have a couple hours in a row that you're willing to go and spend by yourself or with your family or with friends, then I really would discourage you from buying a boat. Think about how realistic is it for you to get out on the water? How often do you want to get out on the water? Know that. Look at your schedule now. Look at your calendar and think to yourself, in your calendar this year, how many times would you have gotten out on your boat? Because I would suggest to you that if you're not going to use your boat at least 10 to 15 times, upwards of 20 times, it's just not worth it to get into that, especially the larger boat that you have. Because the larger boat that you have, the more expensive it is, the more time it takes to take care of it, and the more things that can go wrong and systems that can go wrong, and sometimes you can be caught. So realistically, look at your schedule and see if that's something that you really want to invest in terms of boating. Hey, thanks again for watching, everybody. Would love to hear your comments on what you thought about what I shared, and look for the next video in which we're going to talk about real boat ownership costs. We're going to lay out costs for the last couple of years. You don't want to miss that one. Thanks again for watching. See you again soon.